Hey, what's up everybody? TooTallToby here, and today I've got a music stand, very useful tool for musicians when you want to jam out with some of your buddies, but unfortunately this music stand is incomplete. I've got this nice rubber foot here, but I'm missing the rubber foot on this and on this leg. And so today we're going to talk about how to take photographs of physical parts and bring those photographs into Onshape so we can create a 3D model and ultimately 3D print some replacement feet. So anytime you want to take a physical part and reverse engineer it into a 3D model, you really need two tools. The first tool that you're going to need is a good caliper. A nice accurate caliper will help you to physically measure your physical model. So for example, the width of this model is about 18 millimeters and the height of this model is also about 18 millimeters. And that information is going to be very useful when you're trying to reverse engineer a physical part. The second tool that I have found to be very helpful in my career is photographs of the physical part. So you can see here that I took a couple of photographs with my phone, and then I brought those photographs into paint.net. Paint.net is a totally free image editor. It works great for this kind of work. And once I brought those images in, some of the stuff that I did was I tried to make sure that things like this bottom edge of this model here is more or less horizontal, so I did some rotation of the view. I also tried to make sure that these lower 2 points on this image are horizontal to one another, so again, using the rotate function. And then I also cropped out most of the background, so I'm just looking at the image of the part itself. Now, the last thing that I like to do before I bring these images into Onshape, and this is definitely a pro tip for Onshape, is I like to do one final crop where I kind of anchor down the upper left corner. So what I try to do is I try to crop the image so that the very top of the geometry in the photo also is the very top of the geometry in the image. And I do the same thing with the left side. So the left side of the geometry is at the very left side of the image. So here you can see I'm going to select and do a crop to selection. And by anchoring that upper left corner, I really set myself up for success when I bring this image into Onshape, which we will see in just a moment. So let's save that image. Let's go into Onshape. Here you can see I've got a new document called Music Stand Foot, and I'm going to select the front plane and begin a new sketch. And now on that new sketch, I'm going to create a rectangle with the dimensions that I measured a moment ago, 18 millimeters wide by 18 millimeters high. Now, for me, what I like to do at this point is I like to rename this sketch. So I'll call this sketch something like layout front. And then I like to exit that sketch and create a new sketch on the front plane. This is just personal preference. You could probably do a lot of this work all in the same sketch, but I like to break it up so that each sketch has its own function. So now I've created a new sketch on the front plane, and I'm going to use this command here, insert image. And with the insert image command, we can choose to import an image from our computer, and the image we're going to import is going to be that front view that we just cropped a moment ago. This is going to upload from my computer to Onshape, and once the upload is complete, we can select that image over here in this list. And then Onshape says draw an image rectangle. Well, this is where we can really take advantage of that cropping that we did before we uploaded the image, because now I can just select the upper left corner of my layout sketch, move my mouse, and then I can resize this image. And you can see that the top of the geometry in the image is just locked to that sketch because I anchored in that upper left corner. This is a very useful technique, and it has saved me a lot of time in bringing images into Onshape. So now I can just drag this image until it is the correct size, matching that 18 by 18. And I can rename this sketch. I'll call this one image front, hit the green check mark. And at this point, I'm basically ready to go, ready to start a new sketch and ready to start tracing the geometry of the physical part into Onshape. So that's where I'm going to stop for today. I'll be back in the next video where I show you how you can use splines to trace over this photo. But what did you think about this video? Let me know down in the comments. Is this going to be helpful for you moving forward to reverse engineer parts? And of course, if you're enjoying this series, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to come back for the next episode.